Taliban in their face. Blood, sweat, grit, no grace. Fight till the end. Leave no trace. 3-5 gets up. Brave hearts never run. Through the fire under the sun. Those flames never done. Harsh lands, cruel nights. Saiyans go ready for the fight. Enemies fall.
The 3rd Battalion, 5th Marine Regiment, 3-5 Marines, nicknamed Dark Horse, was deployed on one of the most challenging and dangerous missions of the war in Afghanistan, specifically in the Sangin district of Helmand Province. This deployment, which took place between October 2010 and April 2011, profoundly impacted the battalion as they faced extremely difficult conditions, intense combat, and significant losses. However, it left behind a legacy of courage and resilience that continues to be commemorated and studied. Preparation and arrival. Before being deployed, the 3-5 Marines underwent extensive and rigorous preparation, focusing on urban combat techniques, operations to disarm improvised explosive devices, IEDs, and collaboration with Afghan security forces. This training was not limited to military aspects, but also included a deep familiarization with the local culture and social dynamics of Helmand. Sangin, where the battalion was to be sent, was already well known as one of the most dangerous areas of Afghanistan, making it essential for the Marines to be ready to effectively face the threats. The 3-5 Marines arrived in Sangin in October 2010. After the 3rd Battalion, 7th Marine Regiment had taken control of the region from the British just a month earlier, highlighting the strategic importance of maintaining a continuous coalition presence in the area. Sangin was considered a Taliban stronghold and a crucial hub for opium production and trafficking, key elements for financing Taliban operations. Its location along the Helmand River, an important communication and trade route, made the town particularly valuable to the Taliban. For the coalition forces, and especially the Marines, controlling Sangin was crucial not only to disrupt Taliban supply lines, but also to reduce the flow of financial resources from the drug trade that fueled the insurgency. However, this same strategic importance made Sangin an extremely contested and dangerous target, where the Taliban had placed a vast number of IEDs, making every movement a constant risk to the Marines' lives. Operations and battles. From the moment they arrived, the 3-5 Marines found themselves involved in continuous and brutal combat. Their daily operations included foot and armored vehicle patrols, reconnaissance and IED disarmament missions, and support missions to forward operating bases, FOBs, scattered throughout the region. The FOBs were essential for maintaining control of the territory, but their defense required constant commitment, with the Marines often having to repel coordinated Taliban attacks. The nature of the combat in Sangin was particularly challenging. The dense urban environment and surrounding terrain favored insurgent guerrilla tactics, who exploited their knowledge of the territory and extensive use of IEDs to inflict heavy losses on coalition forces. IEDs were the most lethal threat, accounting for the majority of the battalion's casualties. Their omnipresence meant that every step could be the last, creating an atmosphere of incessant tension. Sacrifices and losses. The human cost of the deployment to Sangin was extremely high. During the 6 months of the mission, the 3-5 Marines lost 25 men, with over 200 wounded, many of them severely. The losses were not only numerical, but also emotional and psychological, with each fallen Marine representing a severe blow to the battalion's morale. Despite this, the 3-5 Marines continued to fight with unwavering determination, demonstrating exceptional resilience in the face of adversity. Each loss was honored with ceremonies in the field, where battalion comrades gathered to remember the fallen, reinforcing their commitment to completing the mission in their honor. Despite the circumstances, the battalion maintained surprisingly high morale, fueled by the awareness of the strategic and moral importance of their presence in Sangin. Collaboration with Afghan forces. A crucial aspect of the deployment was the collaboration with Afghan security forces. The 3-5 Marines worked closely with the 2nd Brigade of the 215th Corps of the Afghan National Army and the Afghan National Police. These partnerships were essential not only for military operations, but also for the attempt to build local capacity and stabilize the region in the long term. Joint operations led to the disarmament of numerous IEDs, the capture of Taliban fighters, and the liberation of entire villages from insurgent influence. One of the most significant successes of this collaboration was the interception of a large quantity of explosives intended for the production of IEDs, achieved through a joint operation between the Marines and the Afghan Army. This operation prevented further attacks, likely saving many lives among both coalition forces and local civilians. Despite the challenges of operating with local forces often subject to Taliban infiltration or insufficient training, the Marines managed to establish a relationship of trust and cooperation, which was crucial to the overall success of the mission. Successes and progress. The final assessment of the 3-5 Marines mission in Sangin cannot be measured solely in terms of losses, but must also consider the significant progress made. The Marines' presence helped reduce Taliban influence in the region, improving security for the local population, and making it more difficult for the Taliban to operate freely. Joint operations with Afghan forces led not only to the clearing of numerous IEDs, but also to the capture or elimination of many Taliban leaders, weakening the insurgents' command structure in the region. The success of the operations in Sangin also had a psychological impact on the Taliban, who realized the determination and capabilities of the coalition forces. However, despite the progress made, the long-term stability of the region remained uncertain, with the risk that the Taliban could return to fill the void left by the withdrawal of coalition forces. End of deployment and legacy. The deployment of the 3-5 Marines to Sangin ended in April 2011, with the handover of control of the region to the 1st Battalion, 5th Marine Regiment. By the time of their withdrawal, Sangin was a significantly safer area compared to when the battalion had arrived, but long-term peace and stability were far from guaranteed. The legacy of the 3-5 Marines in Sangin is a story of sacrifice, courage, and resilience. Their actions have been commemorated not only within the Marine Corps, but also through documentaries, articles, and ceremonies that have paid tribute to the fallen and the survivors. The 3-5's experience in Sangin was also a reminder of the human cost of war, a testament to the price of freedom and the complexity of operating in a counterinsurgency environment.